Okay, we've got a little bit of an issue because I am trying to act as a car dealer and a friend, but we've got a bit of a problem. Oh, that hurt.
Sorry,
got a bit of a problem with my friend.
No, we're referencing car dealer.
Oh, right, is that what it was? You bought this, we're not going to mention names because it's not fair, but this is a Ford Wildtrak. And it's had a bit of an issue and it's been back to the dealer.
Yep.
And it's not fixed.
No. So ultimately, the biggest problem is that when you originally, when I bought it, it had big knobbly tyres on it,
yes.
Bigger than what you see there now. You got to 45 up to 60 mile an hour,
yeah.
And it shuddered like crazy.
Which is understandable.
Yeah, if it had the big knobblies on, you'd have thought maybe, they're not built for that sort of speed road-wise or anything else. Took it back in, exchanged the tyres for what you see now, which are more akin to a sort of a decent tread road tyre.
Yeah.
We're now going slightly higher in speed, 55 maybe, 60, get to the 70 mark, and again, you get a horrendous shudder throughout the vehicle, to the point where the steering wheel's shuddering, the car's shaking itself, so that's an issue.
Rude. So it's shaking the whole thing?
Shaking the whole car.
Okay.
There was a problem with the infotainment system where the screen failed, in essence.
Yeah.
And now this morning we've had another message come up on the main screen saying that there's a steering wheel lock malfunction and that it requires servicing now. So
immediately?
Immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, immediately.
Your pants.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the problem you've got is you've already taken it back, haven't you?
Well, they've had it for 2 weeks. I've owned it for about 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
They've had it for 2 weeks out of that 6-7 weeks. It's been back in, obviously, to have the tyres changed and rebalanced, because we didn't know whether there were a balance issue. So it's had those rebalanced. I took it back then saying that it's shaking still. They've then had it for a further 2 weeks to get it back into Ford under warranty to see what was going on with it. I then picked it up yesterday, drove it 2 junctions up the motorway, immediately rang them and said the issue still stands.
And this is
so it's due to go back into them tomorrow, but being my local friendly neighbourhood car dealer, in the know.
You've missed the mark a lot of times there.
Give it a whirl.
So, yeah, we'll give it a whirl, see what it feels like.
Yeah.
I think they've made a balls up here by giving it back and not fixing it.
I think so.
If it's still shaky.
Yeah.
But we'll get out and have a run, because I'm trying to be unbiased here. I'm trying to support you as a mate, but at the same time I'm trying to support a car dealer, because I know that a lot of customers are unreasonable, Matt.
No way.
Can happen. Just want to make sure
not
that
this
we do.
guy.
Not that guy. I've sold you cars before. Remember the tow rag?
Yes.
Ooh, you've been very unreasonable there. Apart from the fact it had no engine light.
Yeah, and it wasn't my bit of paper either.
No. So we will get out in it, get it for a bit of a drive, see how it feels, and just see whether or not. It's my frigging car park.
Parking was. You need a fence. Can we not get a fence up?
Get a bumper.
There you go, there's another one. Take the spot now. I do know a really good builder who will put you a fence up there for a very reasonable price.
Do you?
I do indeed, yes.
The builder that was used on my house, it would go like this.
Not that builder.
Not that builder, different
Not
one.
that builder, a different builder.
I give in. So we'll go out for a drive, see how it feels. I think the balls that they've made here, mate, is by not checking that they fixed it. I'll give you the advice the best I can.
Yes.
But we do have a rather lovely orange one. If I can... Yeah, it doesn't sound right, but you want to send it back. Get you an orange one. So get out, get on the road and see how this car feels.
I'm annoyed with care, as you may well know.
Yes, you do seem a little bit annoyed, mate, but let's give this man the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
And see how it drives. So what sort of speed do you say you can feel it?
Tends to be more 40-ish and above.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll feel it now.
I can feel something.
I feel it coming. Okay. But saying it's a commercial vehicle, obviously they are a commercial vehicle, so you would expect
You would.
Bigger wheels, bigger suspension, that type of thing, you know, so
True.
they are built tough.
Yes, as we saw on the dashboard, we can put that overlay on there.
Yes.
So you've done. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
You're welcome, mate. I feel it, and obviously I'm feeling it now because I'm very, very aware of it, but this is why I wanted you to have a drive of it yourself, just to see if you are of the same opinion. It's when we get up to brakes are good though.
You did stop, Kent.
When they say built tough, they don't mean take on a double-decker bus.
No, I decided we'd lose that fight.
Yes. So you need to get it up to that motorway speed, because that's where you really feel the difference.
If I'm being critical,
which
which is rare for me,
very rare, yeah.
I think I can already feel a bit of a wobble on it now, because I literally done this route in that big, super monster truck version of one of these, and it felt less wobbly.
Yeah, because that one is, I think that one's jacked up even further than this one, isn't it? It's got like a 2-inch lift on it as well.
Yeah.
So you would have thought, you know what I mean? And again, it's got bigger wheels, more aggressive sort of tyres, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say. There you go. And we're what, 60?
You can hear it because there's something rattling here.
Exactly, yeah.
So you can hear that going.
Yeah. So this passenger seat rattled like crazy, like absolute crazy, to the point where, when I was driving it, I had to shove my left elbow in this gap here between the centre console and the side of this seat, ram it in there to stop this from rattling. Because I'm driving with what I do. I drive down to Sheffield and drive up to Manchester. I've picked up more projects in Leicester, Nottingham. So I'm doing quite a few miles. And when you're driving 100 miles, rattle, you either put the stereo on full whack to drown it out, or you have to jam something in there. I've got a glasses case down there that's been jammed in there to stop it. There is a tail behind that. That they found 15 pence, 10 pence and a 5 pence. That's how you make 15 pence. I don't know how to describe that, I'll be honest with you. But anyway, there you go.
Thanks for all the detail, mate.
You're welcome, mate. But anyway, so there's 15 pence in the runner traps.
Right, okay.
It slipped into the runner. It had obviously jammed itself in the bottom of where the chair connects into the runner.
Okay.
And that had caused that to then uplift. And that was causing it to rattle.
Was that what it was?
Apparently, that
Not
was
your
causing...
prop shaft. Right, so we're now at 70.
You feeling it?
You can feel it in your seat. Look, I'm always one to side with the dealer, but that's not right.
No.
It feels like you're going over these bits to slow down for a roundabout constantly.
These rumble strips as you're approaching a roundabout, constantly, all the time. That's what it feels like,
And there's no judder on the braking, as we've now experienced by avoiding hitting that lorry, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it feels on the front. It almost feels front axle. When you're turning in with a little bit of throttle, you can feel the front.
Jumping or...
Yeah, sort
of jumping. Yeah.
Have you done a reverse brake assist not available?
I don't know what that means. C Manuel. Or C Manuel.
Who's that?
Some
guy in a sombrero.
Spanish guy will jump out
Hey!
and watch you go backwards.
Yeah.
Again, add-on. I bet yours ain't got that.
It will.
Oh, well.
I bet it works if it's got it. I think what I'll do is I will run a check on the car. I like to believe that everything in the motor trade is lovely and nobody sells cars that aren't great and there's always a solution to a problem, but this is not a good one, mate.
No.
Should we check and make sure it's not been in a pram?
Please, that would be great.
So what we'll do, which is important, which you never did when you bought the car, is we'll run something called a vehicle score check on it. Let's get the score. If you can guess this score out of 999, if you can guess it within 5, I will give you £5.
Excellent. I'm going to go 958.
Excellent. It's 999.
Is it?
It's a new car with no finance on. It's never been MOT'd. I don't know if we're going to go one way, but that's not why I wanted to do this. What I wanted to do is get a full history check on it. So I'm going to pay for this for you.
That's a first.
But you owe me 50 quid from that bet.
Will it change the score when you do it properly, or?
No, the reason I do this, great question, is because it's going to show us if it's ever had a bump or whatever. Now the problem is, wobbles are really subjective. which is why you've got a difficult problem with this dealer, because they could get it and go, that just feels like a car should normally.
Yeah.
But you've said it feels wobbly. I think it feels a little bit wobbly, personally. But like you say, it could just be tyre balancing. The good news, you have not bought a car that's been crashed. So it scores absolutely bang on. So it's got 3 owners on there, you've been number 3, not been in a crash, not been imported, exported, not an extra insurance category, no salvage history, no scrapped records. So it is absolutely on the button. So they're certainly not doing something untoward by selling you it.
Okay.
Which is positive.
That is good news, yeah.
How much is it? No. No, not interested in wobbly
It's
cars.
a bit of you.
It is not a bit
That's
of
what
me,
we normally
mate.
say.
Yeah, it's not
It's
a bit
of
me.
you.
But if you hand this back, you're going to need a car. I'm changing my stance on this.
So if anybody could recommend a reputable car dealer that I could contact, please.
What's happened, mate?
So I spoke to him and said, look, I'll be honest with you, I've lost all faith in this car.
Deaf
because
ears.
it's...
That comment, deaf ears.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying.
you know what I mean? It's a 2024 plate car. It had 9,900 miles on it when I bought it. It's a built tough car. It's a commercial vehicle.
Yeah.
I'd expect more, you know what I mean? I wouldn't expect that amount of problems, tiered on tier on tier, to happen without, you know, some intervention, something, you know what I mean? And you'd expect more out of it, you know what I mean? I expected more from the vehicle.
Yeah.
And what I wanted, and when I say I lost faith in it, is literally, I don't want to be driving down to, you know, I've got contracts in London, I've got contracts in Portsmouth, I don't want to be driving all that way and something then catastrophic happen and then I'm stuck, you know what I mean?
You miss your meeting.
You know what I mean? There's something...
I'll get it, yeah. You know, so actually, to be fair, the term I've lost faith in this car gets thrown around so much in this industry, but actually, genuinely...
It's a workhorse. It's been purchased by my business as a business tool. You know what I mean? It's been purchased to do a job.
So have you bought it through the business?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So different rules apply.
Ah, right, okay. Right.
Different rules apply.
Okay.
Oh, you're stuffed. Right, we'll end the video there. So you fall into business-to-business rules.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, you've got different sets of rules depending on how you buy it. So it needs to be fit for purpose, is the term.
Right, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Which it kind of isn't.
I'll use that on Monday. Fit for purpose.
Fit for purpose, yeah. Because if you buy as a consumer, you've got the Consumer Rights Act 2015, which is more robust.
Okay.
But if you're a business to business, then there is an argument that, I don't know why, but it's not as robust. It's because businesses aren't well protected and stuff them and tax them.
Ah, right, okay.
I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the long and short of it.
Okay.
So, but either way, you've still bought a product that isn't fit for purpose or whatever.
Yeah.
However, that's not the shocking part of this very long tail. You've gone in, you've said, not happy, lost faith in this car. You've seen another car for sale there.
Yeah, they've got a lovely car, another lovely car there, which I would be very, very interested in purchasing, which is a higher price. And I said to them, look, I've lost faith in this vehicle, but I would be interested in doing a deal with your X5.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a higher price and everything else, but I don't mind paying the difference. So he said, right, sound, you know what I mean? They've held their hands up and said, yeah, we know that you've got an issue with your truck, so we'll work with you on this. And yeah, if you're interested in that X5, we'll put some numbers together for you, not a problem. So I've owned that truck now for 7 weeks in total. They've had it 2 weeks, plus probably a day for changing the tyres. So just, so let's take 2 weeks out of that 7 weeks.
You've done 2,000 miles,
I've done 2,500 miles in total. But again, there's been quite a few trips to the garage to drop the car off to get it, sorted, whichever way. Like I said, I purchased it for 35,750 plus the wheels, so 37,000.
Yeah.
Again, I shall refer to said phone so I don't misquote anybody.
So there needs to be probably a bit of mileage deduction because you have used it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you'd expect a little bit of a kick here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
No problem at all. I also purchased a back for it. It didn't come with the hard top back on it, which I paid 1,700 quid plus VAT for.
Yes.
They very kindly fit it for me, free of charge, which is great. Again, not a problem. So it has that on it as well.
Okay.
So that's an extra, but that was my purchase. I needed that for what I do. So that was my stupid fault. Cheers, Rob. Thanks. We've learned so many quotes today.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that was your decision. So that's kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's my decision. So So that was that's fine. Okay.
But either way, they're better off for it if it stays on it.
Well, it's a £2,000
isn't it? Yeah.
extra. Is that what you'd call it?
Yes.
Okay. So spoke to them.
Yeah.
Great. If you're looking at getting that BMW, we'll chuck some numbers at you. Not a problem. This is where it gets a bit silly. They would give me, and I paid 37,000. Remember?
Yes.
£32,750 trading value for my truck.
Okay.
5 weeks, 7 weeks, 5 weeks brackets.
And their rationale there?
Well, they've actually put that they have depreciated it £3,000 with the mileage and the additional owner. They completely forgot about the wheels. I didn't forget about the wheels.
No, did you not? Weird.
So I went back.
Yeah.
You forgot about the wheels, so there's an extra £1,250 on top of that. That's £4,250 off that truck that I purchased 7 weeks ago. That works out at roughly £607 per week depreciation. Now, I was told that Range Rovers depreciate somewhere in the region of 600-ish to 700-ish pounds.
Yes.
That's top-end Range Rovers. These guys beat it.
Yeah.
Ford Rangers depreciate so heavily.
The irony in this is it was them that told you that about Range Rovers depreciated by £600 a week. And the very Range Rover that you part exchanged is still for sale at the same price they sold it or had it for sale at when you originally bought the Ranger.
Yes.
So that price hasn't moved.
Their price hasn't moved, no.
But the Ranger's come down by 4 1/4.
4 1/4, yeah.
I like to side with the dealer as much as possible.
I think this one might be pushing the boundaries of being a nice dealer.
And this is the problem with our industry.
I expect a hit. I expect a little bit of a knock.
You're used to it.
But I also expect my business is purely, as most businesses are, purely customer reliant. As in, if I do a bad job, I don't get paid.
Yeah.
If I give you a bad service, I might get a percentage of that money knocked off. You know what I mean? And you expect that. You know what I mean? So I expect them to chip me some money because, like I say, I've used that vehicle. I've used the vehicle. I've driven it 2,500 miles. It has had another owner on the V5 now. You know, and that's what it is. But at the end of the day, they've known about that vehicle from more or less day one that it's had an issue. You know what I mean? And I'd expect them to work with me. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised. That is a sort of figure that you'd expect from them to say, you've just changed your mind. Do you know what I mean? So you've bought it, you've run it for a bit, I've changed my mind, it's not for me, I fancy that X5.
Exactly.
What would you give us back on this? And even then it's a little bit spicy.
I think it is.
Even in that instance,
I honestly think it is. I think that's, you know what I mean? After that short period of time, such a short period of time, I bought the Range Rover from them. I didn't haggle the price. I just bought it at their price. I part X the car and didn't haggle with the price that they offered me.
What was your part X on the Range Rover?
The Skoda.
The
VRS.
Yeah, they give you decent money for that from them.
They give me good money for that, which was great. You know, that was a really good deal, and I was really happy. That's why there was no haggling. Didn't ask for a penny off anything at all. I then took the Range Rover back into the same dealer and did the deal on the truck.
So you've been repeat?
Yeah, and didn't haggle with the price.
Yeah.
Oh no, I did haggle with the price slightly on the Range Rover because you very kindly offered me £30,000 on the Range Rover, and they'd offered me 28, I believe, 28 and a half maybe.
You offered it to you said they'd bid you that on it, and I said, well, I'd give you 30 grand for that car.
Yes.
So if that's going to be a deal breaker for you, I'll give you 30 grand for it.
You did, yes.
You then got 31 off them.
£1,000, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Secretly, you didn't want that Range Rover.
I was giving you a bid because I don't know why I just like wasting money on our friendship.
Yeah, true. Thanks, mate.
It's all right. No, but it was, jokes aside, it was a lovely car.
So, so what I'm sort of getting at is that, you know what I mean, I've not been an awkward customer. I've not chipped them myself. I haven't gone, oh, no, I want £5 off, or
no,
I want
exactly.
£2
You've been
off.
right.
You know what I mean? So they've made good money on, because I know they shifted that Skoda really, really quickly. They've got a good margin on the Range Rover, as you've seen online. They've made a margin on the truck.
Yes.
Because obviously that'll have been marked up from whatever they've taken it in from.
Defending the dealer here, that's the job.
Yeah.
But when you get the same person coming in again and again and buying and selling through you, you start taking care of them.
You'd
Not
hope
that you
so.
wouldn't take care of a general customer, but you start going, you know what it is, this is regular now, so let's make sure, let's give a bit more for that, and we'll do a bit of a deal on that, and that's business.
100%. My business runs on repeat customers.
Yeah.
100%. I deal with very, very few new customers. All my business is repeat business because we, as a company, provide a really good service to our customer base, and that reflects with them coming back to us time and time and time again.
I'm guessing, knowing you, there's probably a limited choice for those customers in the market.
God, I don't know why I bother.
Just a guess.
Yeah, there are other car dealers.
Oh.
I've got other friends, you know.
Ouch. Why do you keep coming here?
I haven't got other friends.
As defensive as I was of the dealer, even when we were on the test drive a couple of days ago, kind of going, just try and give him another chance. That for me is poor practice at best.
We will see.
Thoughts, comments and opinions in the comments below, please. I'll be interested to see.
I don't know why I did that.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, a bit weird. Yeah, cheesy grin. Showing these teeth off.
They are lovely teeth.
Thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
It'd be nice to see
Got a
what
warranty
happens.
on these as well.
Yeah.
I didn't go for the bigger version, though,
Did you
which
not?
I would have normally done, you know what I mean? I'd have gone for the 22-inch teeth, please.
Yeah, pearl white, please.
Yeah, pearl white. Yeah, with the aggressive tyres.
I think they'll probably do something on Monday when you go down, and it'll look a lot better than that.
We'll name them on the next video.
No. That's not how we roll, mate.
We're not.
Oh, we might. What's it worth?
£4,250 apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. But no, I'm not a name and shamer, but it'd be really interesting to see what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thanks, Matt, for sharing your story.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for listening for the last 4.5 hours.
It's the third time I've heard it.
It's a lovely story, though.
It's a good story, yeah.
You'll be telling your grandkids that one.
I will, yes, to help them sleep.
To help them sleep, yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you.